center field. Going back is Gonzalez. It is gone! Two-run home run by Schwarber. Stays put, and there's a high fly ball. Deep right field. Harper watches it fly.
And we are back for another episode of the Double Stretch Podcast. Going to be honest, this is going to be a lot like the last episode and the episode before that, because the Phillies, man, they just keep winning. They keep beating teams. People really like to talk about, oh, they're just beating up on bad teams. That Texas Rangers team that we just swept, they are not a bad team at all. That's a good team. We played the Padres, who have some of the best players in baseball. We've been beating up on everybody, the bad teams, the defending champs. Just the wins are pouring in, and it's weird. I was kind of telling you earlier about how we don't really know how to frame these episodes because we're so used to not this. This is a dominance we really haven't seen out of the Phillies since we started the pod, which was a couple years ago now.
Yep.
And I like it. Kind of like it.
You're right. I mean, we've been doing this for a bit now, and usually we have something to like zone in on that is going wrong, but this is right now, like this start is kind of like a perfect storm. I mean, everything's like kind of aligned, and this team just has such a great mindset right now. And I know like obviously people are going to hate on Philadelphia and the Phillies because people love to do that, and they hate us because they ain't us kind of thing. But like we both know, like all you can control is like what you can control. We can't control the quality of the teams we play. We just have to beat whoever's in front of us each night. And that's exactly what this team's doing right now.
Yeah, and this is a team that struggled with that in the past. I distinctly remember the short season where we had to go down to Miami and beat them to get into the playoffs. Couldn't do it. I remember last season. I remember national series throughout the years. This is just a team that has not always done what they are doing now. And it's easy for other fan bases to say, oh, they're just playing easy teams. That's like, it's easier said than done. You still have to go out there and you still have to play better baseball. Bad teams win too. And we're not just beating these teams. We're sweeping a lot of these teams, and a lot of these wins are very convincing wins. It's not like we're 37-14 with like a plus 15 run differential. This team is crushing anybody who gets in our way right now. 37-14. I want to say, don't mark me on the year, but this is the best start the Phillies have had since 1882. It was something in the 1800s, and it ended in a 2. It might have been 1892, and that was a long time ago. Which
nobody listening was alive for that. So
no, this is all new to us as Phillies fans. And yeah, I just it's crazy that we're here talking about this. The Braves, who have always just run this division. Since Bryce Harper came to Philadelphia, it's been the Braves division. They're 6 games back now, and they're looking up at us, and the fans are playing tough and everything, but they see a baseball team that is we're not fighting back like we have in a couple of years. We've taken the division here, and it's a team that looks like they belong there. And it is wonderful to see.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, obviously the Braves still have that opening series to kind of hang their hat on. Cause I mean that's what everyone's kind of hearing online right now is you played one good team, the Braves, and you lost that series. I mean, that was the first series of the season. This team hasn't really looked back since. And I mean, it's just a whole different vibe now. I mean, we kind of have that Braves energy where we're expected to dominate, and we're going to be people will be disappointed if we do not go to the World Series and win it. Like that is, everyone knows that. The Phillies themselves know that, the fans know that, and all baseball fans know that. And they're going to hold our fans accountable to that too, because we talk a lot of shit.
We do. A couple of years ago, I remember when the Phillies had a couple of years where they collapsed late in the season, and we were talking about how the ballpark was kind of not as full as we thought it would be because, the team, they betrayed us a couple of seasons in a row. It's the middle of May. It was weather day at the ballpark. And there were more fans there than there were in September of 2019, September of 2018. People believe like this isn't fluky. Like people think this team is special. We really believe in what they're doing. And I'm going to ask you a loaded question here, Johnny, and it's probably a little above your pay grade. What's the difference? Why now? Why is this team the way they are now? What has changed?
Like why everyone's showing up the way they are now?
Why did the Phillies have all those issues getting off to good starts in the past couple of years, and it's not happening now? Not even a problem anymore.
I think it's continuity. I mean, this team, for the most part, the core of this team has been in place for about 3 years now. You look at the big guys, like the leaders, like Castellanos, the Schwarbers, the Harpers, the Wheeler, Nola, Ranger, and then the newer guys. We don't have as many new guys this year. Those guys kind of got a full off season with the team, full off season with the guys in the hitting coach and the metrics guys and all that sort of stuff. And it seems like they're really meshed. They've meshed together. Like it's a beautiful thing. I think everyone just seems comfortable. I mean, I don't see one player like that seems uncomfortable. I mean, maybe Whit Merrifield is like the one guy I would say looks a little uncomfortable out there right now. But you look at even like Edmundo Sosa, like a guy who like never kind of uncomfortable in his role before. Even Sosa is just like thriving in his reserve role right now. I think that's my answer is the continuity from the past 3 seasons. The core's intact.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a team, not even just Phillies team, a baseball team that really enjoys playing with each other the way they do. We've talked about how people want to play here, but you can see it just on these guys' faces when they go out there. I mean, Alec Bohm and Brandon Marsh, like they're a whole meme at this point because they're best friends on and off the field. Matt Strom's taken less money to stay here, and he's turned into maybe the best left-handed reliever in baseball. I'm actually saying that. It sounds weird saying, but Matt Strom is that good. Spencer Turnbull gets off to this amazing start, and he's okay going to the bullpen. This team wants to win more than anything else, and it is the key to good teams. You need to look at the bigger picture, and whatever Topper's done, whatever Dave Dombrowski's done, I mean, they've built just a unit that is so comfortable with each other that it makes the game easy to everybody. So that's kind of just what's changed. I mean, this core has been together for so long, and then to kind of piggyback off of that, I think the second biggest reason is the stars in the past were the stars. Bryce Harper, JT, they show up every year, but you've really seen a step forward from I don't want to say second tier of players, but the guys who have kind of not started out at the superstar level. They're growing in to become stars.
I think second tier is safe to kind of call it.
Yeah. You're seeing these guys really break out and kind of come into the limelight for the first time. I mean, you're talking Alec Bohm, Ranger Suarez, Bryson Stott. These are guys now in the national spotlight. Ranger Suarez isn't our little secret anymore, and Alec Bohm's not that guy that we have to get up here and prop up every episode. These guys are legit MLB. Like, there's Ranger Suarez right now would be starting the All-Star game in my opinion. Him or Shota Imanaga. And this is a guy who we've just watched over the past couple of years, and we knew he was good, but he's just taken a step forward. And then Alec Bohm has developed into. I'm not going to go too far into Alec Bohm because it's generally like we have a session where I just ran about Alec Bohm, so I'm not going to do too much about it today. But he's developed into the second best player on this team, if you're talking well-rounded player. Third best behind Trey Turner as well. Go ahead.
If you ever went out on your own and did a podcast, you could probably do it solely on Alec Bohm and just defending Alec Bohm.
I've literally just made this my personality on this podcast, just the Alec Bohm defender. I had to do it for a long time.
You look brilliant now. I
had to do it for a long time, but I don't have to do it anymore because he's awesome. He's awesome. He's leading the league in doubles. He's batting .330. And I checked his defensive WAR. He's the best defender on the team right now. Please fact check me on that. He's just developed into an awesome player. And Bryson Stott has been on a heater these past couple weeks. Brandon Marsh is arguably the best player on the team at barreling the baseball. The dude just matches. Johan Rojas these are the guys that when Dombrowski built the team, he said, we have our stars. We have Trey Turner. We have Bryce Harper. We brought in Schwarber, JT. If this second tier of players can develop, we're going to have something special. And this group is just so cohesive. Christopher Sanchez has been good. They're just a force at this point. And the only thing that can kind of stop them is injury, because they're really, I don't even know if injury can stop them, because this is a team that lost Trey Turner, who's the second best player on the team, 3-4 weeks ago, and they haven't skipped a beat. Was it on the defensive war?
You're right.
2.5, right?
2.5, which is it doesn't feel right to say. That's crazy. But yes, no, all this we're bringing up a great point. All this without Trey Turner. That's
a testament to Edmundo Sosa too. I forgot to mention him. He deserves some credit too.
Yeah, and I mean a little bit, kind of everyone, because I think last time we talked, it was when the Trey Turner injury had happened. That had happened about a week before our last podcast, and we spent a lot of the podcast talking about how are we going to do this, like who's going to play what position, and we were like pretty sure it was going to be like Stott as like the primary shortstop, and then we thought Witt would get second base sort of. It turns out Sosa was up for it, and Stott went nuclear and just started hitting the crap out of the ball, and the rest is history, really. I mean, Bryce Harper went nuclear. JT has figured it out. Man, it's tough to give. Like, everyone needs credit for this because everyone knows their role on this team and everyone's contributing in a very impressive way right now.
Yeah, it's tough to really organize this episode. I'm already starting to notice it as I'm thinking. But yeah, in the past, that's another good point. We've always relied on, when's Bryce Harper going to get hot and carry this team? Oh, June Schwarber's coming. Oh, he's going to get the offense going. It's not like that now. It's next man up, start to finish. It's a lineup that's producing, with the exception of one player, but we're not going to let that kind of diminish the episode. There's a couple players who haven't gotten going, but the lineup's so deep that you can hide those players. Yeah, you can hide them. Christian Pache coming up today with a big hit. I mean, it's a brilliantly constructed roster. Everybody deserves credit, and I'm just excited. I think that's just the word at this point. The sky is really the limit for a team like this. As it gets warmer out, balls are just going to start flying out. It's Citizens Bank Park. The rest of the division is having all kinds of issues. Mets, Nats, Marlins are just not doing too hot, and the Braves are kind of dealing with some stuff too. It's a really good opportunity this year for this team to do something really special. Keep the good times rolling. And that's kind of all I have for this episode. I wish I had more, but that's kind of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I got a question for you. I mean, I hate to ask it because right now I'm just enjoying the streak we're on. But when we look ahead, are these expectations, are they going to get really lofty? And do you think the team will handle them well? You think they can block out that outside noise, or is that going to become an issue?
It's a good question. When we thought that this would be a 90+ win team, we factored in a mediocre start. We've come to expect that from this team. And now that they've gotten off to a good start, does that raise our expectations? No, not really. This is a team that I always thought could be a World Series type team. I always thought that this team can beat anybody when they're hitting on all cylinders like they're doing now. It's going to be weird to see this team kind of get off to a good start and keep the energy going. It's not something we've ever had to do. One of the advantages of our poor starts in the past was we had to get it going mid-season, and that always carries over into the playoffs, which is it's not talked about enough in the grand scheme of baseball, but that's a really important thing come playoff time, and it's kind of why the Phillies have been so hot coming into the playoffs. But this is a team that I think can manage that. This, like you said, this is a veteran core. Like, even our younger players are veterans in kind of their own respect. They've been here and they know the grind of Philadelphia and what these playoffs have been like for the past couple of years. I just think it's a team that can get themselves going. I don't really know what could stop this team other than injury. It's deep enough. There's guys like Cody Clemens who come up and produce. Just there's so much depth here. The bench is something that we've been complaining about for a couple of years. And say what you want about Whit Merrifield, but he's a good bench piece. And Edmundo Sosa and Christian Pache, these are guys I feel good about getting in the lineup in and out every night.
Yeah.
So I think that there's going to be a cold streak coming. It's not I'm not going to sit here and say that we're the 2001 Mariners and we're going to break the record for wins in a season. That's unrealistic. That's not why we're here. We think this team is where it should be at the top of MLB. I think this is one of the better teams in baseball. Whether they're going to win 100-plus games, I don't think it matters. I just have seen enough at this point in the season to know that the ceiling for this team is as high as I hoped it would be. The pieces are here. Everything seems to be going in our favor so far. I mean, just looking at the context of the NL, there's obviously the Dodgers on the other side of the country, but it looks like it's a Braves team that's not as strong as they've been in the past couple of years. You're seeing some regression for some of the guys in that lineup. And then outside of that, the NL's kind of weak. The Central doesn't have that team. The Padres aren't as good as they have been. The D-backs haven't gotten it going. I just think the context is really good right now for everybody, for the lineup context, the rotation, and our place within baseball. They just need to stay healthy. They need to continue to have this kind of, I think I saw the term quoted as like humble confidence, which I like a lot. That's knowing that you're good, but knowing that you can't take anything for granted in this game. They're battle tested, and this is a team that's going to find ways to win throughout the course of the season. So no, I don't think it really does change my expectations.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. I mean, this team, I feel like you heard from a lot of the players like in the past seasons when like they were off to those slow starts where they had like a lot of like trust in themselves because they know how good of a team they are. But I feel like this season it's just been they are playing it like to the level that they know they can play and to the level that the fans and the front office know that they can play at. And it's a really cool time. And I don't really want to get bogged. I know other fan bases are going to try to bog us down with, well, you're going to go cold and you're going to get swept in the first round. But they can kick rocks for now because this is a whole lot of fun. And you're right. I mean, this team, my mom actually said it really well at the game when we were kind of comparing this squad to like some of those like 08 and like to like 2012 squads. And like this team is like they're cocky in like a good way where they're not like selfish. They're not egotistical, but like they're confident. It's really cool to see. Like none of them act like they're better than one another. Like they all know they're great, and they have like a lot of trust in each other. It's a really cool team dynamic. I mean, you don't really see it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like today. I'm not even upset with Taijuan Walker. I don't even think he's been that bad, which is just great. He's been
doing his job.
Yeah, he's been serviceable as the 5 starter. One of the interesting things this isn't really a theme for today's episode, but past off seasons, past like trade deadlines, we've always had like clear needs for what the team needs. I don't know what we need. This is a team that is just well built. It's a terrifically built team. Dombrowski gets credit for it. It's a well-balanced, deep, talented baseball team, and just keep it rolling.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I may be a reliever at the deadline, but just because you can never have too many of those. But no, I don't see. I think we're just so deep where we can have 2 guys in our lineup be cold for the duration of the season, and we'll still be at the top of the league. I think, yeah, and I think we learned with the Turner injury, we could have a star player go out for like an extended period of time, and we have the pieces and the versatility on the bench and AAA to patch it together and almost make it look like the player's not gone.
No, you're right. Just looking at this roster, 5 All-Stars right now. If the All-Star game was today, we have 5, 6 All-Stars. In the past couple seasons, it's been 1, 2. Just there's been so much elite production And I think, I don't think we should ramble on about this too much longer because we're kind of
yeah,
starting.
I got one more thing I just want to give a little credit
what
to.
you got?
The rotation. Obviously, they've been good, but I mean, they're leading the league in ERA, and they have. I think I saw it today. Like, they're leading the league in ERA, but they're also averaging like almost a full inning more than the second team per start, and they've thrown more innings than any other team. So it's not like some like cute stat like lowest ERA. It's like it's hard earned. These guys are workhorses that are going 7 innings and they're not letting up runs. Tip of the cap. I mean,
two things about that are really important. I'm glad you mentioned that. So them going deep into the games, that would usually be like what's going to happen? We're using our starters too much. We have too many starters. We send a starter to the bullpen because we have so many starters. We have the depth to kind of test it. We're testing this rotation, seeing what they can give us. And, if one guy falls, there's Spencer Turnbull down there to pick him up. And, all that's going to do is later in the season, when you see teams and their bullpens getting taxed, we're going to have a bullpen that's relatively fresh. Strom, Hoffman, I mean, the reason they look so good is because, they're rested and they're being used correctly. When you start to see relievers kind of falter, it's because you're overtaxing them. It's a fine line you have to balance between underusage and overusage with starters and relievers, and just having some of these guys at the top of the rotation being able to give us 7 innings. Wheeler, Nola. I mean, there's weeks where those 3 each go 7 innings, and you're only using 3 or 4 relievers. It's such an advantage for a baseball team to have.
Nola said it actually really well when he said that we've learned the past 2 postseasons that our bullpen arms need to be fresh at the right times, which they haven't been. We saw that some of our best arms have faltered in the late rounds of the playoffs the past 2 years because we had to lean on them a lot in the regular season because Nola wasn't having good seasons, and we weren't as deep. I'm not blaming it on Nola at all, actually. And Nola said, he's like, we have the guys. Then like me, Ranger, Wheeler, like we all like that top 3 believes that they can go 7 to 8 every time out, and we're gonna do that for our bullpen to make it easier on them.
Yeah, and it's such a philosophical difference when a starter knows that you have a bullpen well rested down there. When starters have to go into the games and they know that their bullpen's taxed, like you go into that game with a completely different mindset. Everybody's loose right now, and you can just tell. You can tell by the way they're playing. It's just such I don't want to say relaxed, but it's a humble confidence. It's terrific phrase. They know they're good and they believe in what they're doing.
Each other. Yeah. Yep. You're right. And everything's complimenting each other. And one more thing about the rotation that made me smile, because I have so much to say about how great this rotation's been, because I don't think we've had this good of a rotation since the Halladay, Lee, Hamels days. And even those guys didn't really perform to this level all at the same time. But the fact that Thompson, when Taijuan Walker came back, the team's trying to get Turnbull scheduled innings on Christopher Sanchez starts, and then Christopher Sanchez goes out there, they're thinking all right, if we get 5 good innings out of him, that's great. And Christopher Sanchez goes out there and throws 7 beautiful innings, and really Rob Thompson's probably most teams don't have that issue. It's he wants to get Turnbull in there, but Sanchez was just too good. It's a beautiful issue to have.
It's almost friendly competition at this point. You see one guy go out there and throw 7 shutout innings. You want to be that good, and you don't want to get over. You want to go out and perform equally as well. And even in the lineup, you see guys coming up in big spots. You don't want to be the guy to let the team down. That's why start to finish, everybody's producing. It's kind of infectious. It's infectious within the city. You see Phillies hats everywhere. On that Market Frankfurt line, you see Phillies shirts. People going to the games when I'm getting off of work, it kind of making me jealous a little bit. But it's something that I haven't seen before. It's a beautiful sight to see. It's also kind of important too that the fans are into it this early, because the past couple of years the team had to get going by themselves, And now you have sellouts on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Vibes are good. Vibes are really good.
We've all caught the Phillies fever, and it's an event on a daily basis that you don't want to miss out on. I mean, you get FOMO if you're not at that Phillies game on a weeknight in May. I mean,
yeah,
that's just unheard of.
I feel kind of bad because the Sixers and our friends over at Pick Swap Media, the Sixers lost and the city just pivoted and turned all their attention to the Phillies. And I mean, what are you going to do? The team deserves it. They deserve our attention at this point.
Yeah, no, tough. That was tough for the Sixers, but the Phillies certainly picked them up. If that's, I don't think that's how that works, but
yeah. Any last thoughts? I think we've ranted enough about how good we think.
No, I guess my final message would just be enjoy this. Let the internet trolls do their thing. They're just kind of sad people. This is really cool for us to all enjoy, and just enjoy every game and go Phils. Yeah,
just remember what you're seeing now, and that's how good this team can be. They're going to lose. They're going to lose some series. You know, it's not the 27 Yankees, but we have a really good baseball team that is capable of really incredible things, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. And with that being said, as always, thank you guys for listening, and we will be back to talk to you soon.